We're just doing a little carryover from our growth mastermind this morning, talking about language. So, who's got some good news to share?
I think I have some good news.
All right, Darlene, talk to us.
Okay. I've been working with a buyer, and all of our offers are kind of getting rejected. But then I picked up my other buyer. He's an investor, and we have an offer that I'm actually in negotiations with right now, as well as my other buyer. And then I picked up another buyer yesterday as well. I guess I joined up with another company in a sense to generate leads or to filter me leads. I bought out a area code or whatever. And it's actually, I've only been on it a day and I picked up one person. So if that pans out, that'll be something good to generate leads for me.
All right, good stuff. I'm not typically a huge fan of buying leads, but if you work it, then it potentially has a chance to work. My only suggestion with that stuff, guys, no long-term contracts.
Oh yeah, it's not. I could cancel
No
at any
long-term
time.
contracts. They'll get you in those long-term contracts and it'll eat your budget alive.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Good work, Darlene. I see all those phone calls and all that activity is starting to sprout some results for you. Good stuff. Who else?
I have been working with a buyer for more than 6 months now, and we finally got an offer in on a house last night.
Nice.
Hoping it gets accepted. We'll see. And then I have another property that I've had listed for a year and a half, and we have an accepted offer for them.
Is that the one? That's the one in Lakewood?
Yeah, it's that daycare.
Nice.
I mean, it won't close till after the first of the year, but if I could get that off my books, I would, trust me, I would be so happy.
Beautiful.
Happy New Year's to me.
There you go. There you go. Starting off the year right.
That's
Speaking
right.
of which, who put a red check on their box yesterday?
I put a red check on my box yesterday and today already. What about you, Bill?
And what have you decided is the habit that we are going to be working on and establishing for the new year?
My habit is going to be working out for 15 minutes every day doing something, even if it's just walking around my island while I'm talking on the phone. And for my business, that was my personal, and for my business, just be on the phone making phone calls a minimum of 15 minutes a day.
All right. I love it. I love it. You know, what ends up happening if you guys listen to Jeff Woods, he's the host of the One Thing podcast. By the way, if you're not listening to that, you got to get on that. The One Thing, it's of course Gary and Jay's book, but there's also a podcast that is affiliated with it, and it's run by a gentleman named Jeff Woods. Super, super intelligent guy. Obviously, or he wouldn't keep his work, right? But there's like 200 something episodes, and it's just incredible. One of the things that he talks a lot about is this idea of habit stacking, right? So once you, for example, Jan, you might get, or the plan now is to establish those 15-minute habits. Well, the next habit that you might establish is, 30 minutes, or hiring, meeting with a personal trainer, or doing that activity like the next step, basically, right? So you might do it with a partner, or you might you might have a habit to set an appointment every day, right? And when it's a habit and it's a commitment, you don't like look at the clock and say, oh, 5 o'clock, I'm out of here. You say, I don't care where I'm going to get this appointment, but I'm going to get an appointment today, right? I'm going to set it at least, right? Will you please just talk to me about real estate? It's like 11:54 and I'm really tired. Can I please just Zoom with you for 2 seconds and ask you some questions? Would that be okay? Right? We need to get better every single day. Great stuff. All right, one more. Who else made an X on their calendar? We're talking about the 66-day challenge, by the way. We started yesterday. If you do one habit for 66 days in a row, according to the research, that habit will be in place for all of eternity on average. If you started yesterday, your 66th day will be New Year's Eve, and you'll be ready to go into the new year with this new habit. So I'm going to encourage you to make it Ideally one. If you can handle two, go for it. But the second you start slipping on two, go back to the most important one and focus on that one. Okay. Anyone else, developer, is ready to commit to a habit each day for the next 66 days? Anybody? Are Jan and I the only ones going to do this? We're the only ones going into the new year with a habit? All right, Tawantis, what is it? You want to share?
Actually, my habit, I want to have a book read a month, a new
what?
book. I want to have a new book every month. I want to have a new book read.
Okay, so we want to establish the habit daily though. So for example, your habit might be, I read 10 pages a day.
Oh, okay. Break it down even more so. Okay.
Well, because you want to make sure that you're able to check it off each day. So
Okay.
the ultimate goal is to have one completed each month, but the daily goal is to say, I read 10 pages, or I read a chapter a day, or
I got a chapter a day. That's what mine was on there, a chapter. Okay.
Yeah. And then of course, make sure that there's enough, that plan allows you to read the book, right? You don't want to read a chapter a day, and some of these books have, 2-page chapters. The book's 300 pages and you've only read 60 pages. That's not going to work, right? Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to expect some zingers from you in the stuff you're learning. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, you guys. Let's jump right into the how to cap in 6 months. By the way, this is also, it's very, very similar. It's off by like $1,000. The math behind making $100,000. Okay. So 9 times out of 10, when agents come to me and I ask them about their financial goals, unless they're already above 100, their goal is generally 100. Okay. So I'm going to give you the plan real fast for about 100, or to cap in 6 months. And if you have a desire to make more than that, completely cool. We got a plan for you too. It's just going to be slightly higher on the numbers. And we can work through that specifically on your MREA plan, MREA2 plan. Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of kind of cute ways to think about this. Okay, the first idea is 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is a good little reminder sequence. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to set 4 appointments per month. That's only one set appointment a week. So set 4 appointments a month. We're going to go on 3 appointments a month. Okay. Then we are going to take 2 of those. Notice I did not say receive. I said take, right? The decision on whether we want to work with somebody is not theirs, it's ours, right? You go into the meeting saying, this listing is mine if I want it. If I choose to work with this person, I will choose to work with them, right? But I know I'm real good at what I do. I know exactly what to say. I'm well prepared, and this person would be lucky to work with me, okay? And I will determine whether this person gets the honor of working with me, the privilege of working with me, because guess what, guys? Not every single person in the world is a good partner, okay? There may be some people that aren't cooperative at all. There may be some people that are completely disrespectful. There may be some people that say things that you don't want to hear, right? Things like, I don't want to live there because too many fill in the blank live there, right? Or, hey, how many fill in the blank people live here? We done. Have a nice life. Ain't got time for you, right? I hate to say it that way, but there's one way to overcome a lack of leads or a bad lead, and that's more leads, right? If your one client is a bigot and they're late all the time and they don't cooperate with you, that's your guy. If you got 50 contacts or 50 opportunities and one of them behaves that way, you just stop taking the calls. Does that make sense? So the best way to overcome a bad client is with a good client. Y'all hear me? Is everyone out there? I got 2 people, I got 15 people, 12 people in the group, but only 2 faces that I can see. What if we just all agreed to not make judgments about people if their hair's not done, or their makeup's not on, or their shirt's not tucked in? Can we get another face? Can somebody show me their face? Jan, is that you making noise about to show me the face?
Oh, no, it's not me. Trust me, I'm still in my pajamas.
I think it's our friend in the car. He was doing something.
Well, Mike's already showing me his face. All right. Ebony's working out. Good. Yeah, show everyone you're working out now. Thank you. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to set an appointment a week. Okay, we're going to go on 3. We're going to take 2. Take a listing. That's a buyer listing agreement or a seller listing agreement. Okay, and as this continues to develop, you'll close 1. Okay, so set 4, hold 3, take 2, close 1. Okay, the average commission in our office last month was it was about $12,500. Okay, we're well over 400,000 as the average sales price. I did my math at about 350. Okay, so I underestimated our numbers by 25% just to illustrate how solid of a plan this could be. Okay, so let's just, for example, imagine that your average paycheck is 10 grand. You close 1 a month, that's 120. You've made your 100. You've made your 100. Okay. Chances are at least one of those is going to be on the higher end, right? At least. And you'll most likely net 100. Okay. If you do that, you will easily cap within 6 months. Okay. Now, if I were to tell you that you had a job where all you basically had to do was set an appointment a week, you could work whenever you wanted with whoever you wanted, and you could do most of the work in your pajamas, and I'll make sure that you net 100, would you not say to yourself, are you serious here?
Right.
Does anyone listen to that and say, I don't believe you, or I think that's just not true?
Yeah.
What do you guys hear when I say that? Is that inspiring? Is that fun? What do you think?
It's inspiring to me.
Hey there.
Yeah, he said, hey, good morning. I think it's inspiring because it lets you know about the flexibility that we actually can have and the freedom we can have to make different choices. So I think that's inspiring.
Beautiful. Anyone else want to share? I think that's inspiring too. So
I've done it, and it's so nice when you get that 100% cap money. You know, when you're not paying any money to the office. Because sometimes you're like, oh man, I got to pay them again. And when that first check comes in, you're like, woohoo, I did it.
Right. If you're paying the office, it's hard to walk away with a 5-figure check. But I tell you, 5-figure checks are fun. Right. Okay, guys, here's another kind of parallel idea. All right. Let's talk about our daily activities in order to book that one appointment. Okay. In order to book that one appointment, I'm still working on the marketing aspect of this, but as of this moment, I'm going to call it the 11-5-2-1. 11-5-2-1. Okay. So 11 is daily contacts, 2-way conversations. You make it a habit, a commitment, because your life depends on it and your family depends on it. 11 conversations a day, 2-way, whether it be a Zoom chat or a in-person meeting, or touching a friend or family member, or obviously having an appointment, or calling people, texting people, social media, exchanging people, etc. 11 contacts a day. Okay. The 5 is the 5-5-5 that we learned about in Mega Camp. Okay. This is a social media activity. I've heard a few different variations of this, but I'll tell you the one that has stuck out to me is You go on Facebook or so Instagram, whatever, 5 likes a day. Go like 5 things of different people that you're in communication with. 5 likes a day, 5 comments a day. Okay. Make it specific about what you see or the person you're speaking to. 5 likes, 5 comments. And then go on their timeline and do 5 relevant posts or messages to 5 individuals. Okay. So it's 5, basically 5 likes. You're acknowledging something you saw and you're taking note of it. People love that. You are responding with 5 comments to activity that your sphere is putting out there, right? They're putting it out there because they want people to acknowledge it. So go acknowledge it, right? In a way that is more detailed, if you will, or more personalized than just hitting the like button. Go in there and write a thoughtful sentence or so. And then go into 5 people that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while and, you know, post something that's relevant to them, or a message. Hey, was thinking about you today. Love that picture of the kids in the Halloween outfit. Hey, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have a 2nd grader now. Oh my gosh, looks like that vacation was so much fun. Hey, you know, I'm going to Houston next month. Where do you think, where should I eat? Just whatever, right? Specific stuff about what's going on in their life. And what it's going to do is it's going to remind them that you exist. Okay. So you make a commitment to do that every day. 2 people to the database every day. 2 people to the database every day. Okay. If your database is not giving you the number of opportunities that you need, there's probably 2 reasons why. The first is because you're not communicating with them systematically enough with the appropriate message. The second is because it's just flat out not big enough, right? So I was speaking with somebody the other day, and they have a goal to sell 30 homes in a year. Awesome goal, certainly achievable. Does everyone believe you can sell 30 homes in a year? Joe Maxon sold 10 last month as a solo agent. Y'all, did y'all catch that? She made 144 grand last month. Twantis, you're on mute.
I was in the car and I was like, I caught it.
Yeah. Okay. She's not been in the business that long. She's 4 or 5 years in the business.
Yeah.
Right. She's been 6 figures every year she's been in the business, I believe. She just goes to work every day, guys. She just goes to work every day. This is what going to work is. Okay. We have to make a commitment to ourselves that we know the bigger our database, assuming we communicate with it, the more results we're going to have. Remember, we did some math the other day where we say the research suggests that 10% of our database should close every year. So if we've got 100 people, 100 people in our database, we should have 10 closings a year. If every closing spits out 10 grand, that's 100 grand. So every person in the database is worth $1,000 per year. So does that change your attitude about your willingness to add 2 people to your database a year? That's like cashing a $2,000 check every single day. Are y'all looking for a job? Are y'all looking for a career? We're building a career now, right? We're building a long-term business that we could potentially leverage and feed our great-grandchildren. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
We're here for the long haul, aren't we? So are we here to add people to our database or just let our database erode away? Okay, 2 a day. The next thing is, and this is probably the most aggressive part, I know this, is to add one person to your pipeline every day. Okay. That it seems a little aggressive, and I understand that. However, that's my challenge to you. So of the 11 phone calls that you make each day or 11 conversations, can you interact with one person that they have defined a time frame of their real estate goal within the next 12 months? I'm not saying you're ready to meet with them. I'm not saying you're ready to get the paperwork signed. I'm saying you now know that a person exists that doesn't have a real estate relationship that wants to do something within the next 12 months. Can you identify one of those per day and add them to your pipeline?
Mhm.
One theme I've continued to notice in our in our one-on-ones is that we either don't, we're not, overall, we're not taking the pipeline seriously enough. Okay.
Mm.
We either don't have it, or it's not visual, or it's not large enough. And more often than not, there's not a daily focus on it, right? So it's going to be, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble here, but if your pipeline's 6 people, you ain't closing 30 deals next year. Unless you really get intentional about adding people to your pipeline. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
More than likely, that's going to come with some strangers. That's okay. Strangers need help too, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's review that. 11 daily contacts, the 555, 5 likes, 5 comments, and 5 timeline messages. Okay, 2 people to the database every day.
Mhm.
Okay, these are people that have given you permission to stay in touch with them. Or, I mean, they don't even, that is actually a little bit specific. Like, they're basically just people that you want to continue to stay in touch with, that you acquired their contact information. Maybe they just bought a home. It doesn't make a difference. If they had a bad experience, then they're definitely not going back to that agent. And if they had a good experience, 91% of the time, they're not going back to that agent anyway. No, seriously, that is a verifiable stat. NAR puts that stat out every year. It's almost the same exact number every single year. You line up 100 people that claim to have a relationship with a real estate agent, 9 of them, 9 will use that agent next year or the next time they have a deal. The reason is because the agent doesn't stay in touch with them, or the experience wasn't memorable enough. Okay. And then adding 1 person to your pipeline every day. So, by the way, if we want to have 12 closings to hit our 100 grand or to get to capping in 6 months, then we need to have 1 unit close a month. So that's 12 a year. You know, I've suggested 3 times the number of closings into your database. I'm sorry, into your pipeline. So we have roughly 8 weeks left in the year. Okay. This is the time of year, by the way, that people tend to be more social, right? There's more gatherings, holidays, time off, these kind of things, right? Can you build your pipeline to 36 people in the next 8 weeks? That's about 1 a day. Work days. I'm not even saying every day. That's about 1 a day. So can you ring in the new year with a pipeline of 36 people and a new habit that's going to change your life?
Mm.
Right? If you're not happy with where you are in life right now, I'm not here to judge you, but if you don't like your current situation, or you acknowledge that you are not currently at the level of your potential, let's do something about it. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
All right, what are you guys hearing?
I think I'm hearing that we just need to set the goals and every day do whatever it takes to reach those goals, whether your goal be $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year. You just have to do the activity.
Yeah, or the goal is to exercise for 15 minutes, right? Or the goal is to read a chapter in a book, or the goal is to, have breakfast with your son, or whatever it is, right? My son has been really on this kick lately of having breakfast with me, right?
Well,
so if I bring a crappy attitude or no energy when I roll out of bed in the morning, then it's going to crush him, right? If I'm like, oh, I'm too busy, I can't sit down for 5 minutes and have breakfast with you. He's like, oh, really? Like, I don't want that. So I'm going to get my ass out of bed and I'm going to do whatever it takes to have high energy and totally be immersed in that experience for 5 freaking minutes. Am I not capable of that? I got, how many minutes are in a day? 1,440, and I can't give him 5 of them? I don't know. Who else? Who else wants to share something? Ebony, you look like you've got like 1,000 things going on in your head right now, and you just can't decide what you want to say first.
I do, because sharing would mean that I'd have to share more about me than I'm willing to give.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just glad you're here.
I know what mine is. I want to get over the limiting belief of fear. That's for my personal, because I know that I can do it, but I feel like there's a block. And I want to stay committed to 9 o'clock on the dot, 9:05. Call your 5 FISBOs, because my spirit's not getting it. So if they're not doing it for me, then I need to get outside of that comfort zone, leave that fear alone, and go out there and just do it, because that's what's eventually and ultimately going to make me happy. So that's what's swirling in my head right now.
Yeah, I tell you, I honestly, and this stemmed from a limiting belief. Okay, and you can use your limiting beliefs to your benefit in some respects, right? I was super young. I was 25 years old. I wasn't particularly confident. I didn't have a great track record, and I wasn't particularly sure. Like I didn't want to have those experiences with my friends and family, right? So I intentionally went after strangers at the beginning so that I could, screw it up and it wouldn't be that big of a deal on the phone or during an appointment or something, until I got more deals under my belt and I felt more confident, right? Look, I mean, I love my mom, but she sent me one referral in 15 and a half years, and that person wanted to pay me 1%. Like, she is not going to keep food on the plate, on the table. I'm going to have to go find some different people. Does that make sense? So let me remind you about a concept that we've talked a good amount in here, which is when you're fearful, you may be thinking about yourself too much and not thinking about them. Because when you're fearful, it's about what the experience is going to be like for you. If you are committed to calling those 5 FISBOs, the attitude you should have is, what if I don't call them and they end up getting scammed by somebody that's not as hardworking or and honest as me? What if they don't fill out the disclosures properly because no one's guiding them? What if they sell it for less than they should because no one's watching their back, right? And so I dedicate my every single day to being a better presenter and a more educated agent and a better, statistician on the numbers and all that stuff. So they would be lucky to work with me. I got some stuff to share with them, and I feel compelled to share it with them. So if they don't get a call from me, they could go down a road that I don't feel like they don't want to go down. And that's why I'm making the call, right? What if you did? Say, well, I can't make the call, I'm scared. Well, what if you did? Well, what do you think could happen? Well, they'd hang up on me. Will you still be alive? Yes. Can you claim a contact out of that? Yes. Can we laugh about it tomorrow? Yes. Right? Will you do it again tomorrow? Yes. Will it happen to you probably every day of your life for the rest of your entire life? Yes. Does it make a bit of difference? No. If I had $1 for every time I'd be rejected, that I've been rejected, I wouldn't be on the phone call with you guys right now. Okay. The funnest part is getting rejected and then them coming back to you because they believed in you and they just had some other thing going on that they couldn't hire you at the beginning. Okay. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Right? This is not directed at you, Ebony, but if something exists in your brain now and it's preventing you from getting what you want, you have to look at it objectively and say, how is this belief serving me? Is this serving me? Is this helping me? And if it's not, quit. Try the other way. Have some fun with it. Right?
Yes, I've been all in my head. I need to get out of my head and just do it.
Do it, man. Fun. It's fun. All right, one more thought, and then we'll head out for the day. Who wants to share something else that's on their mind?
Hey, I would just like to say that I'm thankful for you, Bill. Don't always like you every day, but you always challenge me. And I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate that, Jan. That means a lot to me. You know, the reason why I'm in this seat is because I've learned a lot and I've had a lot of success and I've had a lot of failure. And because of that, and by the way, I've seen, you know, I've been fortunate enough to have what some people might say is, you know, a high quality of life. And I've, you know, sat on my toilet in the cheapest condo on the market in Atlanta that I bought in 2006 because I couldn't afford anything else, stealing my neighbor's internet, living off of free Arby's curly fries because I had the coupon for it for 2.5 years. And I've been there too. And having a little cash in the bank is a lot more fun. Okay. You think being busy and having a bunch of clients is stressful? When was the last time you had no money? That's pretty stressful too. Right? So which stress are you more interested in having? Does that make sense? God, I hope they don't come out and say like the Arby's curly fries are, you know, from 12 years ago had some kind of chemical in it because I'm done for. We're gonna need a new coach. All right, y'all. I have a lot of fun with you too. I feel compelled to share what I've learned, and I'm glad that you guys are here learning with us. Okay. Have an awesome day.
You too.